Hey everyone, my name is Yusuf. In today's video, I will go over how important it is to know your numbers and how knowing your numbers could potentially make your money. So without further ado, let's jump into the computer and talk about a few things that you need to know. Before we get started, I would like to go ahead and say that these are yearly numbers. So anything that you see are per year expense. This is also assuming that you do 120,000 miles in 1 year. And also, this is just a more realistic example and not necessarily one size fit all numbers. Pretty much your number could be different from what I have stated here due to your own circumstance. So any number that you see in this sheet that does not reflect your situation, you may go ahead and change it just so that it will give you more accurate numbers. The expense that fall underneath the fixed cost are load board, $600 a year, accounting about 1,000 a year. All these numbers are per year, so I would quit saying per year from now on. So ELD $600, IRP is the commercial plate that you put on the truck. That costs $2,000. 2290 it's the tax that you pay to use the highway. 550 insurance. Obviously insurance depends on the person themselves. So if the person has a good driving record and they don't have much common collision on the truck and trailer, the number could be lower, but average is between 15 to 18. So I went ahead and put $18,000 per year just so that we will be on the safe side. Truck payment, most people have truck payment, so $2,000 per month equals to 24,000. Trailer about 1,000 a month, 12,000 a year. Phone, $900. You need to do your business over the phone, so you need that. Truck parking, that's the lot or the yard that you have rented so that you could park your truck when you take home time and not worry about someone stealing your stuff or wrecking it. So $200 per month to 100 a year. Salary, I have not mentioned it. I will get to that here in a second. Let's go ahead and jump to the right hand column. The things that fall underneath the variable expense. One of the biggest one, as you can tell, is the fuel expense, and I have calculated it down to, and I have calculated to be 95 cents per mile. Although the fuel price have just fallen down, I think the current fuel price is $5.30 average throughout the nation. So this could be a little cheaper, maybe like 91 cent per mile, and this includes the idling in the night or turning on your APU. And trust me, those APUs even take more than half a gallon an hour. So if you do 10 hours, you have 5 gallons 5 gallons of diesel that you have burnt through. Anyways, so fuel is the most expensive, and plus the DEF that you have to purchase. So 91 cents per mile, it's reasonable. Next one is IFTA, the International Fuel Tax Agreement, $2,000. Weight distance tax is the New Mexico permit that, or New Mexico tax that you have to pay. So if you never in New Mexico, or if you don't run through New Mexico, then you don't have to worry about it. But I have put it for my own because I am from New Mexico. There are other states that do the same, such as Oregon, Kentucky, New York. Yeah, I think that's about it. So if you do live in those states and you go through those states, you may have to raise this number a little bit more. Tolls, this obviously depends on where you run. If you are doing northeast majority of the time, then you probably end up paying more than $6,000 in a year. But I put 6,000 just to be on the safe side. A pair of steer tires, $2,000. Drives, $30,000. Trailer tire, $6,000, and that's calculating that you need brand new tires every 80,000 miles, which is I think very reasonable. And if you do 120,000 miles within a year, you're looking about to to change your tires 1.5 times. So okay, maintenance about $8,000. Trust me, those numbers could add up very quick, especially if you have like some sort of breakdown. And this maintenance isn't the oil change. This is just the extra things that you have to purchase for the truck and trailer and get repaired, like such as airbags and so on. PM service $6,000. If you do 120,000 mile in a year, you need about 1 PM service every 10,000 miles. So $6,000 is fair to say. Factoring, if you don't have enough money that could cover your expense for, let's say, from anywhere from a month to 2 months, then you definitely need to have some sort of factoring company that you go through. That way they could pay you the next day instead of you waiting 30 to 60 days from the so you can get paid from the brokers. Dispatch, if you are using an outside dispatch company or a person, then usually they charge, minimum is like 3%, and it could go more. So if you're paying 3%, you probably end up paying $7,000 in a year. I will highly recommend that you dispatch yourself, just because it's first of all, it's easy, and I think the number one reason that people do not want to dispatch themselves is that they don't like to fill out the carrier packets, rate confirmation, and so on. So I would highly recommend that you do dispatch yourself. Anyways, if you consider all these numbers, your cost per mile comes to $1.81. So for every mile you run, your truck is costing you $1.81. So on the right hand side, I have done an example of what you are looking to take home if you run on certain rates. So I recently stopped doing long haul because the rate for long haul dropped so low, and also they're not available. So before, like for the past year and a half to 2 years, you would have no problem finding a 30,000 mile load that paid very well. But recently, the past 2 months, I have stopped doing long haul. So here, if you do, the rate going for long haul is $2.17, as you can tell. So if you do 3,500 miles on a long haul, you end up grossing $7,595. Yay! Is that a good number? I don't think so, because you end up netting after all your expense $1,249. Okay, but if you do short haul, the going rate for short haul all miles is about $2.75. So if you do, obviously when you do short hauls, you do more loading, unloading, more topping, untopping, more waiting at the shipper and receiver, and so on, right? So it does have that stressful part of it, but and because you're doing that, you cannot do more miles. So you cannot do 3,500 miles in a week with short hauls, because there's just too many miles. Okay, so let's assume that you do 2,200 miles, you gross $6,050, which is about $1,500 less than the long haul, right? But here's the catch: look how much money you have left with after doing the entire week of short haul. You end up with $2,061. Okay, so if you look at it, your advantage is to do short haul, number one, and number two is that you are pretty much working 35% less, and you are making about 70% more money than you would have done doing long haul and breaking your equipment. So this is the number. So let's go ahead and go to the left hand side and play with a few numbers. Okay, this does not count that you pay yourself, right? But if you want to be on the safer side and make sure that all your expense for your trucking company is included, as well as all your expense at the house is included, you might as well go ahead and add your salary. So add whatever it takes, however much it takes for you to live off of. Let's say that you can easily live off of $4,000 in a month, right? So $4,000 in a month will equal to $48,000 in a year to live off of it, right? So when you add your salary, your cost per mile all of a sudden increases to $2.21 right here. Okay, so just bear that in mind, and if you just keep those numbers as is, if you do long haul right here, if you do long haul, you will end up in a hole of $150. So you are negative $150. But short haul, after your salary, you end up with almost 1200. Okay, so that's okay. I mean, it's not a great number whatsoever, but let's go to the left hand side again and see what kind of areas that we could uh, improve. Okay, other expenses, it's almost impossible to cut down, as maybe two of them is if you already have a truck paid off and trailer paid off, you can take these expenses. But I would highly recommend that you put some sort of money every month or every mile you run, just so that when it's time for you to replace your equipment, you're ready. But here are the two things that you could work on. First of all is dispatch. Learn how to dispatch yourself and save yourself at least $7,000 to $10,000 in a year. Okay, so let's cut that expense out and see your rate per mile drop to $2.15, which is great. Here is the what you have left, what you will be making after your salary. If you do long haul, $53 after your salary. If you do short haul, 1,300. Okay, and let's say you have about 30,000 to 45,000. So just so that you don't have to go through factoring company. But a lot of people, when they first start, let's say anywhere between 6 to 12 months, they choose to do factoring. But anyways, let's assume that you don't factor. You have enough money to live out, to pay your fuel expense and everything for anywhere between like a month to 2 months. So let's say you have that and cut this expense out. Your cost per mile drops to $2.10. So here are the example. 1 week of long haul, $258. 1 week of short haul, $1,400. So here is how you could make more money. Or let's say you didn't know what your number was, and then you're like, hey, I might as well just gross 7,500 a week. I think I'll be making more money. You would think that, right? Because more gross typically means more money, but that's not the case at all time. So you would think that, and you would blindly just keep doing long haul, destroy your equipment, destroy yourself, because you're working longer and stuff like that. And at the end of the year or the week or the month, you're not making much money. But after this video, you already know your number, hopefully, and you end up choosing a better route for yourself. So you won't go with long mile low rate. You would do low miles higher rate, and in this case you would make more money that way. Anyways, this will do it for this video. I'll see you guys next one. Bye.